Hi, everybody. Priscilla Daphney here, and I'm here again to talk about numerology and what it is. Um, Hold on, my glasses are very glary. I'm going to change glasses here. Okay, fix my hair. I don't know what's going on with my hair, but you're not here for my hair. And if you are here and you're worried about my hair, then perhaps we should dig into your numerology to find out why that is. Why are you worried about my hair? Why are you worried about what other people are doing, what they look like, what they're thinking? We can find all that out in your numerology. So let's just get down to it. What is numerology? So, numerology is your entire life's blueprint. And yes, I know people sometimes they hear that, they hear things like blueprint, they think, okay, soul blueprint, woo woo, like all the woo woo stuff. And sure, it totally is that. I mean, there's a lot of woo-woo in there, but it's also so much more expansive than that. Your numerology blueprint, it begins with your birth name and your birth date, and from there it just grows, just like you. It starts at birth and moves through your childhood, your adolescence, teen years, 20s, 30s, and beyond. It weaves through your career, your relationships, and the major turning points in your life. All of the major turning points, marriage, buying a home, all of it, just all of it, all of it, all of it. So it even speaks to, um, you know, why you married the person that you married, why that person? Why were you drawn to them? And sometimes, let's be honest, why do we feel like we have a bad picker? Okay. I've been there. Like, I, I'm not there anymore, but I've been there. I've been a bad picker. And those of you that are a bad picker, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I say that jokingly, but the truth is, we don't actually have a bad picker. Our numbers explain why we're drawn to certain types of people in the first place. So, this doesn't just apply to romantic relationships, it applies to friendships, it applies to the types of jobs that you are prone to. I mean, we're talking even before like career level, like what are you usually drawn to? Um, for example, like with friendships, for me, over and over again, for some of my closest female friends, they've all ended up being Pisces. And it's not just an astrology at play type of thing. This is numerology. Numerology is totally involved here. The emotional types, the intellectuals, the humorous, all of those qualities break down to numerology. And then there's animals. Of course, there's animals. Why wouldn't there be? I mean, I'm an animal communicator. So, I'm going to throw in the animals. I have to. Why are we drawn to certain animals? Why are they drawn to us? Some people are more dog oriented, some love cats, some feel deeply connected to horses, and others resonate with birds and reptiles. That's all numerology. So, numerology is for every age. It's incredibly helpful for parents to understand their children's numbers, not just to label them. Well, not to label them at all, but to support them, to help bring out their strengths and gently guide them through their life's challenges during their most formative years. And when we're younger and we know our numbers, we can work with them as we grow. Like if you're in your 20s, it would be nice to know what your 30s are going to be like, what you have to look forward to. Um, and because of our numbers, they move through cycles. Okay, they shift through adolescence, teen years, adulthood, career phases. When you understand that, you can actually use your numbers to your advantage. For example, if someone has a strong intellectual or debating nature, maybe law is a natural fit. If someone loves taking electronics apart and putting them back together, perhaps engineering or architecture might make sense. Now, some people, they don't discover numerology until later in life, and they might say, "Oh God, I wish I had known this in my 20s and 30s. It would have changed everything." And yes, it very well might have. But what numerology allows you to do later in life is to understand. This will help balance you. This will help ground you. You'll look back and say, that's why I made those choices. That's why I thought the way that I was thinking back then. That's why that person came into my life, and that's why I walked away. Um, it totally grounds you. It reminds you that there's nothing wrong with you. It balances you. It shows you where you've been and where you're going. So this applies whether you're in your 40s, your 60s, you're starting your career, ending one, if you're widowed, divorced, wondering what comes next. You might think, you know, I'll never marry again. And maybe the numbers say otherwise. Numerology is also, I'm going to say it, it's karmic debt. There's karmic, not everybody has karmic debt. Some of us do. And it can tell you whether you do. We can find that out real quick. And whether it's been resolved or if you're still working on it or what you need to do to start working on it. Um, Sometimes something you've carried your entire life. And yes, numerology can help you work through that. So let's talk about numerology and pets. Why are some people compelled to, say, rescue every single animal that they see on the street? And why do some people, prefer to donate instead? Like, they see that commercial on TV with all the sad animals, and they can't bring themselves to, maybe physically help the animals because it might just be too painful for them, but they're all more willing to, send the money, send the gifts, send the food, send the blankets. Um, why do some people feel they just don't have the capacity to even care for an animal at all? Why do some people not want animals in their lives? Is it because they don't understand animals, or do they not understand animals because they've never had them? Uh, is there a point in life when it's actually the right time to bring an animal companion in? That's always that's a good question to know, a good answer to know when either you've never had one or you have suffered the loss of, the pain of losing one. Um, is let's see, numerology. It touches every direction of your life, past, present, and future. So in a nutshell, that's what numerology is. Um, and because of this, I'm currently offering a free numerology report through my beta testing. You can visit my website at priscilladaphney.com to send me a request to join the beta. So what the beta is, I'm in the process of building a very hopefully unique, in-depth reporting system. This isn't a one-page overview. These reports are going to be pages and pages long. If you've ever purchased a full astrology chart, you might know what I mean. Sometimes it's a full booklet or, 20 or 30 page PDF. That's the level I'm working toward with numerology. These reports are designed to help you truly understand yourself. They're grounding, balancing, and honestly, they bring a huge, huge sense of relief, because you realize this is why I think the way that I think. This is how I've been wired. And then when we look at our strongest numbers, not in a, go play the lottery type of way, although, I mean, sometimes we have those numbers, by all means, go play the lottery and good luck. I hope you win. Seriously. But in a practical and aligned way. We all have numbers that follow us throughout our lives, not just karmic numbers, but repeating numbers, favorite numbers, numbers that just show up during your big decision making moments. Um, you know, you might notice that, your wedding date is on the 13th, and then that number just follows you either after your marriage, or sometimes that number follows you up through your marriage, and then you might not see that number anymore because that number was very significant to that very specific point in time, in the time of your life of getting married, that particular life's event. For me, when a certain number shows up, it often marks a moment where a decision lands in my favor. You know, should I take that job or shouldn't I take that job? And then the time that I make that decision or that decision fell in my favor happened to be on, the 21st, which 21 is one of my numbers. Um, and then there's my soul pet Benjamin, and his angel number is eight, the number of infinity. He transitioned 3 years ago, and he is still very much with me. He sends me his number and his combinations of his number constantly, always, at least daily. There's, and that's even a whole separate conversation, and we'll talk about pet angel numbers in another video because that's actually really, really super interesting. But for now, if this resonated with you, visit my website, priscilladaphney.com, and you can also sign up for my numerology beta testing. It's free, but I am close to capacity and we'll be closing it soon. Um, and if you'd like to learn more about numerology, then be sure to like and subscribe because I'll be sharing much more very soon.